Hi everyone. So, are we ready for Mercury to station direct? I think so. His retrograde of 24 days is about to come to an end, and you might be thinking, thank goodness for that. Now, I know Mercury retrograde particularly gets a bad rep because it can create challenging situations and scenarios, certainly when it comes to technology and travel. But really, the retrograde, along with other retrogrades, they offer us this period of introspection. So that's really about us having, certainly with Mercury, an inner dialogue about what we might need to do in terms of our expression, in terms of where we might need to speak up. And of course, it's inner dialogue, so that can be our thoughts, but also work we might need to do with the throat chakra, and that can feel intense and challenging. And of course, as we know, astrology, there's many layers to it, and if we look at a chart, we're looking at the bigger picture. We're not just looking at what Mercury is doing, but we're looking at the bigger picture. So it's going to depend on, of course, where Mercury is in your chart, and of course the other planetary aspects going on. That's without saying. But in terms of this retrograde, this has been about really introspecting on where we need to speak up, where we need to clean things up, because he started the retrograde in Virgo, and also where we've needed to find that courage to speak up, because during his retrograde, he's moved from Virgo back into Leo. So that's really offering us now this empowerment within our expression, that courage within our expression to say what we need to say, even if that is speaking it to ourselves. Now, I say that because, of course, there's many other retrogrades going on at this moment in time, and there will be more to come later in this year. But particularly Neptune retrograde, Neptune at home in Pisces, but in retrograde, the veil has been lifting. So we have been understanding more about what's been going on in our situations, okay, because we look at our own and then we can look at globally what's going on. But certainly we've had things illuminated to us that might have caused more of that challenging energy to go within and introspect. This is about seeing things that maybe we didn't see before, things that might have been hidden from us, or things that we might have been hiding from ourselves. So Neptune has given us that gift within the retrograde of offering that to us via our intuition, and of course via what's been illuminated to us. Saturn, as we know, in retrograde, serving up lessons for us to really get us in alignment with our spiritual truth, because he is also in Pisces. He is bringing structure to a sign that doesn't like to have structure and boundaries. So this is very important to take note of, because we're needing to really get things done and get things moving. Mercury retrograde has been on top of all of this, and we know Pluto is in retrograde as well. So this is the deep transformation that's been going on. So Mercury in retrograde has offered us that extra bit of introspection to look at where we need to speak up, and also in terms of what might be restricting our expression, how might we need to move that forward, of course, going forward now with that courage of Leo energy. Okay, so Mercury will station direct later today. For the UK, it's 22:14 British summertime. Of course, apply your own time zones as appropriate. There will be a post-shadow phase, but the communication aspect should begin to open up and flow a bit more when he stations direct. And what I did notice that was very interesting in the chart, and I have already posted this to my Instagram page, is that at the time that Mercury stations direct in Leo, there is a yod, and this yod is pointing towards Mars in Gemini. And at the base, we have Pluto, of course, in retrograde, that deep, profound transformation. And we have Pallas in Scorpio. So that's about that warrior spirit of Pallas Athena. What are we willing to fight for? And she's in Scorpio, so this is also deep. Okay, so we've got the depth of Pluto anyway, and the depth of Pallas in Scorpio at the base, pointing towards Mars, the masculine essence. What I found very interesting, and again, I've mentioned this in my posts on social media, is that when Mercury stationed retrograde at the beginning of the month, there was a yod, and the yod was pointing towards Venus, the feminine essence. And although Pluto was at the base as well, so was Neptune. So of course, when we look at that, and we're looking at this bigger picture in the time frame of the retrograde, Neptune was offering those intuitive insights and enabling the veil to lift to show us certain things that might have been restricting our freedom, our liberation that we want to experience as part of this transformation. Pluto, currently in Aquarius retrograde, pointing towards Venus, the feminine essence. Okay, so that nurturing aspect, but also looking at our Venus values and where we are investing our resources in that way. Now, fast forward to the end of the retrograde, and the emphasis is on the masculine energy. This is about taking action. So now we've got those intuitive insights, we've built up the courage, and we understand from that veil lifting of what we need to do. Pallas is there to say, okay, Neptune's done his bit. Now I'm here to give you that warrior spirit to fight for what you want. And pointing towards the masculine essence of, okay, now we've got to take some action here. That's working for us in that way. The challenge might come because of a sesqui square that's going from Mercury to Ceres and also from Mercury to the North Node. So when we think of our path forward and our purpose and also our physical reality and how that might expand for us, then there may be a challenge of, well, how can me speaking up possibly expand my reality? How can it possibly contribute to my path going forward? But actually, this is all about empowerment of our expression. And remember the courage of Leo. So it's all about that empowerment. And Mercury is also in trine to Chiron. So it's extremely healing for us to do this in terms of our sovereignty, because Chiron is in Aries. That's all about the self. That's all about the warrior self. So we need to do this with that focus on the self and what we are healing in terms of our sovereignty. This is all part of the transformation. This is all part of the change that we're wanting to experience, but now giving us that freedom, if you like, to be able to speak up where we need to. And again, I'll remind you, even if it's just speaking up to ourselves, because if we understand what we're needing to do and we're being honest and truthful with ourselves because of what's been revealed, illuminated to us, or what we understand to be holding us back, then that's going to enable us that courage to move forward. There is a sextile to Jupiter as well, so that is enabling us to work through those challenges. If we align with the energy in a positive way, that expansion is there for us in a positive way. So the sextile from Jupiter to Mercury is saying, okay, so there may be some challenges with, okay, how is my expression really going to open up doors for me? How is it going to change my reality? How can me speaking up possibly do this? And Jupiter is saying, look, I can expand this for you if you're open-minded enough to really, really believe that your expression as a courageous soul, as a sovereign soul, is worthy of that. For the UK, Mercury is stationing direct in the second house. That is all about worth and values, okay? Again, depends on where it's happening in your chart, of course, for your own unique story. But collectively, and certainly for the UK, this has resonance with worth and values. We need to believe we're worthy of what we want to experience in our reality in order to understand where things, situations, people, beliefs might be holding us back, and where we've been allowing that to happen. That's where the inner dialogue comes in, the truth talk, if you like. So, Mercury retrograding, first of all, in Virgo, really telling us where we need to get things in order, where we need to clean things up, and having some kind of plan, because Virgo is all about that, very organized in that way. There is grounded energy to it, of course, as well, and it is reality based. But now in Leo, this is that courageous fire energy to propel us forward and to express ourselves as that unique expression of our soul, okay? And where we want to experience that liberation, we might just need to do a bit more throat chakra work in order to overcome certain challenges. But there is that awareness of, if we can be open-minded with Jupiter, we can look at things from both sides, Jupiter and Gemini, and have that expansive view, perhaps a bigger sort of perception of the situation. Then we can understand why certain things have happened, why we've allowed certain things to happen, or why we've allowed certain things, or even ourselves, to hold ourselves back. This has all been illuminated to us. So it can be challenging. But remember the trine to Chiron. This is healing our sovereignty, and this is empowerment. This is the moment for us to really step into that empowerment, okay? And it doesn't have to be done immediately, but the energy is supporting this moving forward. And of course, We've got eclipse season coming up as well as other retrogrades. Not to mention, Pluto is going to be retrograding back into Capricorn on the 2nd of September, and he will be there for a certain period of time, stationed direct in Capricorn, and then move forward. So we've got this window of opportunity where he's going to come back into Capricorn and really profoundly transform structures, systems, beliefs, boundaries, rules that are not serving us anymore. If we're already aware of what those are because of what's been illuminated to us, we can step into the power now and truly make the change happen by using that authentic expression. So I hope that helps, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.